Alright, buckle up, because this is one of those stories that grabs you by the collar and refuses to let go till the very last second. This wasn't just another routine patrol. This was a high-stakes showdown that could have gone horribly wrong, but didn't. And the way it unfolded tells a much bigger story about what is really happening inside Borno State right now. Just after 9:30 on a quiet Wednesday morning, the kind of morning where dust hangs lazily in the air and the roads feel almost peaceful, everything changed in a split second. A joint team of soldiers under Operation Hadin Kai was moving steadily through a remote stretch of land as part of the ongoing Desert Sanity Village siege operations. On the surface, it looked calm. Too calm. What the troops didn't know at that moment was that danger was already watching them. Hidden deep within the bushes and rugged terrain, fighters linked to Boko Haram and ISWAP had positioned themselves carefully. They had studied the road, the movement patterns, and the timing. Their plan was simple and deadly: surprise, confusion, and maximum damage. A roadside explosive had already been planted. Guns were ready. Eyes were locked on the approaching patrol. And then, the ambush was triggered. Gunfire ripped through the silence. The roadside device detonated almost simultaneously, sending shockwaves across the dusty road. For a heartbeat, everything was chaos, dust rising, voices shouting commands, adrenaline surging. It was exactly the kind of moment insurgents hope will cause panic and disorder. But this time, the plan backfired badly. Instead of breaking formation or retreating in confusion, the troops reacted instantly. Weapons came up. Defensive positions were secured. A heavy volume of controlled fire pushed back against the attackers. The soldiers were not caught off guard, they were alert, focused, and ready. That quick reaction changed the entire outcome of the encounter. Now here's what makes this operation even more powerful. These weren't just soldiers alone in unfamiliar territory. They were working hand in hand with members of the Civilian Joint Task Force, CJTF, and local hunters, people who know every footpath, every shortcut, every unusual movement that doesn't belong in their land. Soldiers brought tactical training and firepower. The locals brought intelligence, terrain knowledge, and instincts sharpened by years of living in these environments. As the firefight intensified, the terrorists realized something terrifying: their ambush wasn't working. Some of the attackers were hit early. Others began to panic and scatter. What was meant to be a clean strike quickly turned into a desperate attempt to escape. Fighters started retreating toward the foothills of the Mandara Mountains, hoping to disappear into the rugged landscape, a tactic they've used many times in the past. But this time, escape routes were already being sealed. Reinforcement troops from Gusha moved fast, cutting off key withdrawal paths along the mountain corridors. These forces had learned from years of hard combat that insurgents depend heavily on predictable escape trails. Once those paths are blocked, retreat becomes a trap. As the fleeing fighters ran into these positions, the situation flipped completely. The hunters became the hunted. A coordinated engagement followed. Some fighters fell immediately. Others attempted to scatter into rough terrain, but soldiers launched a relentless pursuit, refusing to give them space to regroup or hide. Step by step, the pressure closed in. When the dust finally settled, the numbers told a powerful story. 10 terrorists were neutralized. Among them were 2 senior commanders, Basulu, identified as a key leader, and Yuba, his second in command. These aren't just names. These are individuals believed to have coordinated attacks, organized movements, and maintained terror networks across the region. Their removal sends a serious shock through insurgent command structures. As troops swept the battlefield, they recovered a disturbing cache of weapons and equipment that revealed just how prepared the attackers were. 3 AK-47 rifles. 1 pump-action gun. 5 motorcycles used for rapid movement. 2 hand grenades. 2 Baofeng communication radios. 12 loaded AK-47 magazines. 197 rounds of 5.56 mm ammunition. 1 RPG charger. 2 detonating cords. 39-volt batteries commonly used for explosives. Additional field equipment including carrying bags and tools. Each item tells its own story of planning, logistics, and the very real danger the troops walked into that morning. After the exchange ended, the environment returned to a tense quiet. Security forces remained on high alert, knowing that follow-up attempts or recovery missions sometimes occur after clashes. Patrols continued. Surveillance increased along mountain routes. No chances were taken. For nearby communities, the experience was emotional. Residents heard the distant explosions and gunfire. Parents pulled children indoors. Traders closed shops. Farmers paused work and scanned the horizon. Many people in these communities have lived through similar moments before. They understand what ambushes can mean: blocked roads, fear, and sudden disruption of daily life. So when word spread that the ambush had been successfully repelled, relief swept quietly through the villages. CJTF members were praised among neighbors for their courage. Local hunters earned respect for their guidance and bravery. These are everyday people who step forward not for recognition, but because protecting home is personal. Still, caution remained. People know that one successful operation doesn't end the threat permanently. Insurgent groups adapt. They shift locations. They recruit and reorganize. That's why vigilance remains essential. Zooming out to the bigger picture, Borno State continues to carry the weight of years of conflict. Daily routines have changed. Travel is planned around security updates. Communities learn to observe subtle signs, unfamiliar faces, strange movement patterns, suspicious roadside objects. Awareness becomes survival. Operations like Desert Sanity Village Siege aim to shrink terrorist safe zones, disrupt supply chains, and restore confidence among residents. When soldiers work closely with civilians, success becomes more likely. But here's the deeper truth: military force alone cannot end this challenge. Every recovered radio, battery, or motorcycle raises important questions. Who supplied them? Who provided information? How did these materials move through communities unnoticed? Security experts consistently emphasize that community intelligence is one of the strongest defenses against insurgency. Early reporting saves lives. Shared information prevents ambushes. Silence only gives violent groups room to operate. The removal of senior commanders weakens operational momentum, but sustained pressure remains critical to prevent rapid replacements from filling the gaps. And let's not forget the human side of the uniform. Soldiers operate under constant tension. Every road could hide danger. Every bush could conceal a threat. They move forward so others can live in relative peace. Their families wait anxiously for updates. Relief only comes when safety is confirmed. As security forces maintain presence in the area, community leaders encourage residents to remain alert, cooperative, and calm. Public safety is shared responsibility. Soldiers confront danger, but communities provide the eyes, ears, and local intelligence that make prevention possible. People are advised to avoid unnecessary travel on isolated roads. Report suspicious objects without touching them. Share unusual movements with trusted security contacts. Stay informed through reliable community channels. Terror thrives on fear and unpredictability. Awareness and cooperation weaken its grip. And that's why this encounter wasn't just another clash on a dusty road, it was a powerful reminder that alertness, teamwork, and local partnership can turn a deadly trap into a strategic victory.